And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath of God upon the earth." And the first angel poured his vial, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men who had walked with the mark of the beast, and upon them who worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man. And every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his
Nope, keep going, God.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And the fifth angel poured...
Oh my God, sorry.
And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues in pain. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water therefore was dried up. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And he gathered them together in a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Doppelganger?
No, not this one.
I thought this was the Doppelganger show.
No.
So that was all gibberish. That was all nonsense gibberish.
Where'd the dragon come from?
Wait, there are dragons in the Bible? Sign me up.
Also, I love that when they wrote this, they were just like, no. All of civilization will almost certainly still be in Mesopotamia, like near the Euphrates, right? Well, it's not a big deal. We're gonna pour.
Everyone knows
if they poison the Euphrates now, it doesn't fucking matter.
I've got the Mississippi.
There's a lot of people that don't care.
All right.
Welcome to Paranoia Shop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paranoia Shop. I'm Aaron Waltke.
I'm Chad Quant.
And with us today are 2 very special guests. One, the writer of the NBC Grimm official comic book, Mr. Kyle McVey.
Hello. Yeah. Hello.
And on my left, our resident amateur parapsychologist, Mr. Joey Reinisch.
Yes, that's me. Hey, pleasure to be here.
As you may know already, Paranoia Shop is the podcast where we take a look at conspiracies, the unexplained, the supernatural, and probably make fun of them all.
Hey, Aaron, what's a parapsychologist?
Parapsychologist is...
What am I?
What am I?
The study of the unknown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
Yes.
2 psychologists.
Sure, why not?
Get it?
So I get to be one of those when I buy all those weird UFO books and put them on my shelf, so I'm a parapsychologist now?
I was trying to trump it up a little bit for you.
I mean, it's basically just understand that if you walked into Joey's apartment, it would look like a serial killer lair. Like there's a lot of weird scriptures,
just skin hanging up.
A lot of lamps made from victims.
You guys' skin lampshades last forever. So don't worry about it.
Those are heirlooms,
And
you guys.
as they get darker and browner, they just become more natural looking.
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, how we normally do Paranoia Shop so far, how we normally have done the other episode so
The first
far,
episode.
Paranoia
This is
Shop.
episode 2, by the way,
Episode
for
2.
those keeping score at home. And this episode's theme...
Last episode we did Doppelgangers this year.
Doppelgangers?
This episode, this year. We're going to do a yearly podcast. But this episode we're going to do, this is the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
In case you couldn't tell from the ominous reading
Of the 27 angels who all brought a thing.
To be fair, though, that's pretty much every book from the first half of the Bible.
Well, that was, of course, from the last book of the Bible, Revelations, though, in the New Testament.
Yeah.
Is it Revelation or Revelations?
Revelations.
It's
I don't
Matrix
know.
Revelations.
It's Revelation. On Wikipedia, it's Book of Revelation.
That's where I get my info, and it was
Yeah.
Revelation.
Just saying.
Yes, singular. There's one Revelation.
One Revelation. A lot of parts. By the way,
Many parts.
Only one reveal.
so much has to happen before fucking shit goes down in there.
So dragons?
And none of it makes any sense.
Real quick, let me introduce this segment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what is this segment?
Okay, let's just jump right into it and start with Ends of the World according to the religions of the world.
Oh, God, are we prepared for all the religions?
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
I'll make
good.
up a couple.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I
The
have
main
a
ones.
very narrow view. It is just
So-
Mormons. That's
Most
all.
of them start with, and then the white man came.
So the first one, the most obvious one is the one we read from at the beginning, which is the Book of Revelations, which is, of course, Christianity.
Yeah, there's dragons.
But I wanted to talk about it because you have to wait. There are 3 large portions of the Book of Revelation.
Okay. Revelation. No, Revelation.
is-
Singular.
There are messages. First, there are messages to the
Okay.
7 churches of Asia,
From God.
specifically in Asia. Once
Asia.
again, not affecting the Western world,
Just in Asia.
just Asia. Then the 7 seals are broken. Then, which are vague.
That
I don't even
Demi
know what they
Moore
are. They're
movie?
not like actual.
What Debbie
like,
Moore movies?
Wasn't seven signs?
Are they gonna Flashdance?
She shows like a boob.
Are you talking about Stigmata?
No, it was a Demi Moore movie.
Are you
called,
thinking
like,
of
the
G.I.
seven-
Jane? G.I. Jane is what you're talking about.
Striptease.
That was the
Striptease,
first
yeah.
seal. Shit, never mind.
Yeah, when she dances all over and she got them
Those
big-
super
big-
fake
big-
tits.
big- big-
Wait,
But it's
I feel like I'm divulging.
No, it's fine.
it could have been. These are all vague enough that her terrifying fake tits and striptease could very well have been a seal that was broken. I don't
The
know.
seal of her skin.
But there are
her-
7 messages. There are messages for the 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and then 7 bowl judgments.
bold,
Bowl, like
judgment.
BOWL judgments. I don't know what that
Bowl?
It's like a wee
Like
thing.
bowling. Like Wii bowling.
Bowl,
Oh,
like
we
we-
bowling.
bowling.
As in, there's 7 bowling tournaments, and the judges have to make a call.
Did
Yeah.
they go into what the seals are at all?
Yeah, those are the weird things. They don't make.
Are they trained
Well,
seals?
There's. It could be animals. It could be just that there are like the
It's
last
like
7
A
seals.
Kiss from a Rose singer, like a trained circus seal. Just
The
like,
guy that has really bad skin. That's
A
married to
Tupperware-
Superman.
that's the trained circus seal,
Oh.
and then the singer. It's like-
A Tupperware seal is broken.
Tupperware seal.
And a wax seal.
A loose seal
A loose,
is broken.
a loose seal.
Arrested Development
Arrested Development
Returning was
jokes, yeah, it's
part of
going
the
back.
beginning of the
So
end
many.
times.
No, I mean, you're talking about seals. As someone who went to Bible school, I think this is the seals are that there's like holy scroll somewhere, and then when those
okay.
there's like a stamp seal. Like when you ripped the tape on it, when that comes off,
I just like
you can't
That's like a bunch of. I don't.
you can't return them once you've opened the
Can't
seal.
return 'em.
it's just like a room with like these 7 ancient scrolls in it, and this asshole goes in there and just like
Just no,
Apocalypse, motherfucker! Apocalypse is happening.
Once you break the seal on creation, you can't bring it back to the store.
return those.
Why did you do that?
I lost the original.
I was waiting till Christmas to get
bought
returns on them.
these. The 7 seals are just like the first one is. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see."
Wait, that's from
And I saw and beheld a white horse, and that he sat upon him and had a bow.
Are you doing Monty Python right now?
And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Did you say that one of them was riding a white pony that had a bow on it?
Yeah. Did you also say that the lamb will open the seal like it's a trained animal?
I think lamb is always like Jesus.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
Lamb
It's
of God.
Jesus. So he's
So
riding
God's
Jesus.
just like, he opens some magical portal rift, and he's
Like
like,
World of
"Here
Warcraft.
come my death bros to come on out." This guy, I think it was a bow, like bow and arrow. I like to think,
Or
he
maybe
just
it's our
had
friend Bo, like just a dude named Bo.
just a
from
guy, just
Dukes of
Bo
Hazzard.
Jackson on a fucking horse.
Or a bow staff. It could be like Donatello's weapon.
Oh
of
my god, a
choice.
horse with a bow staff.
Be
As soon as you
terrifying.
started reading in like biblical words, I immediately snapped back to like 11 years old when I could just look at you and tune out like during Sunday school and
Yeah.
stuff and just be like, just like act like I'm paying attention and nodding, and then realize when you guys started talking about it, I had no fucking idea what you just said.
And then just wait for them to come back and pass out the dates and say they ate these in biblical times.
Yeah. I was just waiting for you to go up to the front for a children's part of the service where you just sit
Oh,
with the
yeah,
pastor
where
and he like sits in front like, guys, let's talk about what's
get
God
real.
all what's God all about. And all your parents watch you sit up there and you answer questions like you're trying to look good.
I stare at him directly in the eye the entire time.
So the Book of Revelations is actually kind of interesting because it was not part of the original sort of books. It was written many years after all the other ones were by a guy named John of Patmos.
John of Patmos?
Yeah, not the original John, and not another John like John the Baptist, but another John who lived
Way
like 100 years after all the other biblical stuff happened. So it's actually kind of controversial that it was even included in the
It's
Bible
sketchy.
So it's like,
I mean, let's get on it.
But it's also
let's
the
be
coolest
honest.
book.
It's sketchy.
It's
as
also
shit.
the coolest book.
It is the coolest book.
The Revelations book is basically them saying, like, the kids aren't with us, guys. We need something that's, like, hip and edgy. And, like,
Tell them they're gonna die.
So we need to,
AD
guys,
100.
the kids are not feeling when Jesus comes down to make Saul not blind and turns him into Paul. That's not getting the books.
Saul into Paul?
Or it's Paul becomes Saul.
Yeah, it was
or
on
something.
the road to blah blah blah.
On the road to blah 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 blah.
Terabithia.
Terabithia.
Bridge to
right
Terabithia.
before they took the left to Narnia, and then
And he just pops up and just makes them blind or not blind. He's like, I'm going to change my name to Paul. I'm going to talk to people about you, Jesus. Not kids aren't liking that. But if there's a 7-headed beast coming out of the ground and just eating people, kids are going to dig that.
Yeah, the 7 seals are just him releasing each of the horsemen of the apocalypse upon us.
there's 7.
There's a
No,
4.
there's 4, but then I
knew
don't
there
know
were
what the last.
4.
Wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
no, there's,
the third seal.
There's Angel, Warden Worthington, who becomes Death. Gambit becomes War.
Is that X-Men?
Are you talking about
The
X-Men?
Blob becomes
He knows
Pestilence.
what the 4 horsemen
Wolverine
are because of apocalypse.
The 4 horsemen are
X-Men.
war, famine, pestilence,
No,
and
no,
death.
I know. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
X-Men that become the 4 Horsemen
Yes.
of Apocalypse, and it's always the coolest. It's always the coolest.
So what do you think, like, the Bible publishing division in, like, what is it, like 6,000 BC, where they were writing Bible stuff, and then people were submitting other books to the Bible?
Those are actually called apocrypha. There are rejected
Really?
books that tell additional stories
So
about
it's like-
all
there's
the-
like-
Wait,
There's
they're
supposed to be stories.
rejected.
They're
like
rejected Bible books, and they're called apocrypha.
Is it assholes trying to write themselves into the Bible?
Yeah, it's like it's just
No, it's not
like their
fan
cousin
fiction.
Larry, who's just like
Apostle Larry.
the Apostle Larry.
Apostle Larry and Jesus were the best friends. And one time Jesus was super drunk, and I drove him home.
They're actually whole books. They're whole books.
I
that are
was
exactly
made
like
of
that.
wine. He's
just-
drunk all the time.
Well,
Made me take him through Taco Bell
There's
first.
definitely a book that you always heard stories about in Bible school, where it was just basically Jesus when he was 23, just being a dick, like cursing people.
But it's not
and
part
just
of the
turning
Bible.
people to stone. There's like a girl rejects him. He goes, "You're a newt now," and he just turns him into a lizard.
That's actually where a lot of that Mary Magdalene stuff comes from.
Oh, her just getting it.
Yes.
Because, like, is that how
I
he
feel
met
like
her?
we're getting way off topic.
No, it makes sense. It's all. I mean, why,
This is
how can they keep
Revelation.
this stuff from us. That's
Yes,
upset.
but anyway,
We're-
Revelations.
This
is
helps us
one of
understand the
those.
Revelations. If we understand how Mary Magdalene got it 3 ways that
She
one
got
time.
it.
Yeah. But while we're still on the topic of the Judeo-Christian Bible, Joey, did you have something you
Yeah,
wanted to share with us?
I have 3 here Bible verses. I don't know where they.
Here, Bible verse.
I don't
Welcome
know.
to the Bible barn, guys.
Bible barn,
Come on
barn.
out.
Isn't that-
I'm Pastor Paul. And
Isn't that how Bible people talk?
Yeah. It's always-
Oh,
it was
they
always
did
an
back
old-
at the beginning of the millennium.
Golly, Jesus, you turned all that bread into more bread.
It's like just a hick Charlie Day. Is what it sounds like. Well, Jesus.
Well, slap me silly, Jesus. Are you back from the dead?
I'm going to read
Sorry,
some
that's
Bible
really
verses.
Do it.
Here we go.
Okay.
From, cue the scary music.
Okay.
From First
That's not a book.
Thessalonians. Well, okay, and it's 4:16. That's chapter 4, verse 16.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Next chapter, Daniel 12.
Next
Main-
Did you just put in the please insert next tape?
At the sound of the chime, please turn the page. Many shall be purified and made white, of course, and tried. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
Right.
This just seems like
What?
good advice.
Isaiah 13:9.
So people
Behold, the
gonna get-
day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
Is that Yoda talk?
Yeah, right?
Go to the end.
So, These are just 3 different selections because I did like a Google. It was like the things that are apocalypse verses from the Bible that weren't in Revelation. So they seem to be peppered throughout, but most of them are all like, "Hey, you guys better be good because someday, like, the Lord's going to come back."
Do you even lift, bro? God does.
God lifting.
He can deadlift.
He did it.
He'll throw this whole planet into the sun.
Well, that concept is actually called millennialism, and it's been around in Christianity for a long time. The idea that every 1,000 years or so, that it happened around the year 2000, as you guys probably remember. Everyone, there was a lot of fundamentalists who thought that the Y2K bug was going to be the mark of the beast, and everyone was going to die, and that was going to be. But actually, it happened in the year 1000 AD as well.
Oh, God wiped out everyone in the year 1000?
Yes, everyone died, and that was the end of the world. No, people thought it was going to happen in the year 999 AD, and then, of course, it didn't happen.
Because it's upside down, it's the devil number. And
it's all part of a broader sort of study called eschatology, which is the study of the end times, that usually used in theology.
And 3000 AD is when Judge Dredd shows up.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but we got time for that.
You're saying it's the religious version of it. There was an old children's book I read that was like June 1st, 2001. It was this kid's book about how like giant food started falling from the sky. Not Cloud with Chance Meatballs.
What book of the Bible is that?
I don't know, but then the twist was like it was an alien spaceship hanging out, and they accidentally used their food enlarger ray to drop all their food cargo. And it's just like, what happened? But it's like, in June 1st, 2001, this will happen. And, it's like,
and then June 1st, 2001 rolled around.
And 14-year-old goes, let it come. I'm ready, God.
I'm ready for the food.
Where's my giant pan?
He just pissed off all the bullies in school. Just like, it doesn't matter. Food's coming.
Man. Giant strawberries going to come and squash you guys.
Doesn't even matter.
What's your plan after that, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Your house is going to get buried in Tang.
And then night fell, and the bullies all came and just beat you up.
Didn't think it through.
So sad. No, but on that subject of keep pushing it back, so the last major date for this that someone set that wasn't 2012 was October 21st, 2011.
Wait, what?
That was the last
the Bible?
one. Okay, there's this guy named Harold Camping.
Oh yes.
He runs a Christian-based family radio out of Oakland, and he has multiple times claimed that the world was going to end, and then when those dates passes, he's moved it up just more.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, his first one was September 26, 1994. So he was just like, oh, no, you're right. I miscalculated it. He does it through, like, a mathematical formula.
The Bible code.
Yeah, it's like a Bible code.
Oh, my God, I had that book.
Yeah.
Dan Brown.
On my shelf, the Bible code.
No, it's like it's like Dan Brown's cousin.
No, it was
Larry.
just like
It's like him counting every third letter.
It was like crossword puzzles of just like letters. It was
Yeah.
like if you just ciphered these in the Bible.
No, it's so funny.
It says like drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
So he was like 1994 passed, and then he was like, oh, no, never mind. May 21st, 2011. And then that passed, and he was like, nope.
That's the one he had the billboard for.
October 21st, 2011. And then he just kind of shut up after that.
He retired because the internet finally caught on that that's what he was doing.
Well, they keep popping up.
The internet harassed him so thoroughly that he finally just retired and was like, you know what, I'm out.
He kept ruining people's lives because it was just like people would buy into his bullshit and then they would like sell everything. There was like quotes about people. It was like, I sold all our possessions.
I gave him $200,000.
Yeah, I gave him all my money because I don't need it anymore. And it was like a dude who had like 2 kids and a wife, quit his job, and they just like moved to their basement and were waiting to be saved. And then the next day comes and they just got fucking nothing.
And they go back to their job at Best Buy like, hey, Earl.
Yeah.
So,
well, I
need my job.
I read an account on the internet of someone who did that. It was like their personal account. Of his sister did that. And apparently his sister started acting super shitty to everyone.
Oh, good.
See, that's the thing. And then it got to the point like the day of, and then the next day when nothing happened, she just kind of came in and was like, wasn't that really funny, that joke I was doing? That was really funny, that joke, right?
See, that's the thing. Is like always the stories of these people are always like they're nice people. They think the world's gonna end.
Wasn't that funny? Huh?
But I've never heard a story of someone going like, I think the world's gonna end May 1st, 2011, and they don't just like steal a car. They don't do the crazy like just put your finger in someone's butt.
Yeah,
just
that's
walk
what I was
by,
gonna
put your
say.
fingers in someone's butt.
Exactly. I'm surprised there aren't more stories like that. Like, why do I need to give all my money to this guy's church? I'm gonna blow it on like a weird sex yacht.
All right, I think that wraps it up on Christian.
No, I have some things to say on Christian. Can we do Christian fiction?
Yeah.
Because what I really wanted to talk about was the Left Behind series.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go on.
of course.
If you don't know, the Left Behind series was a very popular series of books. I think there's about 28 of them. That actually might not be an exaggeration.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. About the end times, like late 90s, early 2000s, they came out. Just a book a month. They were just cranking that shit out. It was like these two pastors, like kind of Rick Warren types, who just decided, like, Joel Osteen's just these two old guys who just be on the back of all their books about the end times of the world. Like them picturing.
It was centered around the rapture, though. Like, the rapture is a specific event where all of the good people are taken to heaven, and then all of us shitty sinners are left over.
Kirk Cameron went to heaven, and then Kirk Cameron, the not Kirk Cameron, stayed behind to lead people through.
The Kirk Cameron stars in the first, like, the three movies of the Left Behind, because he becomes Tribulation Force. I read 4 or 5 of them because I was religious growing up, but also really I just liked the idea of a book about Armageddon. It's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah,
it's
awful.
It starts off with everyone being assumed into heaven instantly, and it follows like this. What was the guy's name? I wrote it down. They're all really boring names.
Cameron.
No, let's call him Kirk Cameron.
Let's call him
Cameron.
That was the guy in the book, and they luckily got Kirk Cameron.
Hello, it's a sign from God.
Serendipitous.
So he's like a pilot, and he's part of a plane when, like, everyone gets absorbed into heaven, but he doesn't.
Like the co-pilot gets absorbed in.
Yeah, he just like
control the plane.
or whatever it is, and like, or he's on the plane but not the pilot, and they get absorbed in heaven. He lands it, and just basically like most of the world's gone, or obviously it's in America. Most of Americans are gone.
Most of America.
Most of America's gone.
All of Europe is still around.
And it's basically the story of him.
They're heathen.
His daughter, like Chloe, their pastor. And like they just encounter this weird. I remember early on in the book he's a pilot, right? And his like sexy stewardess, young like 19 buxom girl, is just like the only one survives. Like, I guess you and me are the gotta team up. And he's like a pudgy old like steward. It's like a pastor's sex journal, like just this like fantasy of like, if everyone goes away, including my wife, I guess I have to just have sex with this girl. Like
we have to get married.
We have to get married first, but then I'm totally gonna have sex with this nubile girl, and it's them just trying to survive in this weird. Like nothing's chaotic. It's not like fire everywhere. It's just like everyone's gone. And it's kind of messed up.
It's just a lame version of The Road.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong in thinking that'd actually be a better scenario because there'd be fewer people?
What if everyone gets?
If like let's say a third of the population gets raptured into heaven,
right?
The people that are left behind. Wouldn't that be great? Like no traffic, everything's cheaper.
I would want more people because
have to worry about global warming.
Know that horsemen are coming to eat you. I would want more people just to take.
Yeah, but like, what's the timetable on that? Is what I'm saying. Like, you could have
like 6 more seals.
You could have like forever before that, like hundreds of years.
You could just be
and like
great,
now, shouldn't we just be like, hey guys, like
let our kids figure
the
that
highways.
out. We're gonna have energy for a long time. Like all of our energy concerns would be
hey Armageddon. Thanks for no more Carmageddon.
Yeah, no shit.
Entertainment industry would still be going fast and
be strong as shit.
Yeah, because all the Jews stay. Is that what we're trying to say? Right? That's what you're trying to say.
No, I'm just trying to say that we're all terrible people. But yes, also
I'm trying to call Joey out.
No, that's not what I meant. But sure,
just show me.
All right, sure.
In this fundamental Christian scenario, yes, the Jews would still be around.
Sure.
Not in Chad's personal belief.
It goes on forever. I gave up after book 5 or so because nothing was happening. Mm-hmm. The two main things that I remember so well and loving was the Antichrist appears in the form of a man named Nicholas Carpathia, and he's just like.
That's such a good name.
Like just like a blonde-haired, smooth, like
First
Fabio
of all,
man.
He's who just clearly like that. Of course,
he's clearly the Antichrist, and with little to no like movies, just like, hey, United Nations, what if we all made one nation and I led it? And they're all like, okay, that sounds great. And he's just like,
okay, Nicholas Carpathia.
Yeah,
from Nicholas Carpathia.
Hey, sure, guy that has the most evil-sounding name I've ever heard. It actually pains me to say it.
He just makes peace happen. Everyone's like, this is, which is always something that bothered me of the idea of Revelations, that like the Antichrist would show up and make things great before things got bad. Why? Why is it ever his?
So that the true believers. That doesn't quite make sense though, because all the true believers would have been raptured into heaven anyway. So what's the point of testing again the people that already don't believe?
Well, see, the plot left behind is that these main characters are who come up with a team called the Tribulation Force, which is they need to go around and spread the word of God.
That sounds like the Garfield superhero force.
Tribulation Pet Force.
Pet Force 5.
Garfield Pet Force. And one of them still a little sentient teddy bear.
Force.
Is they have to stop Nicholas Carpathia in some way before anything interesting happens.
Quick, Exactly. He's making this too entertaining.
He's making this too entertaining.
Stop him.
So all they do, they find this like the most Hasidic Jewish caricature in like Oakland or whatever. They just find him, and they're like, he's like their last refuge, last refuge of scripture. And there's this big, like, half of the book is they give him the Bible on CD, and it blows his mind. He's like, oh, these... I can't do a Jewish voice. I was going to do it.
Please do it.
These Jews... Oh, I only had the torn scrolls when I was reading the book.
He had never heard the Bible before.
The Bible on CD. I can reach everyone with this. And so they put him on a laptop with the Bible CDs and lock him in a hole in a basement and say, you need to get on the internet and find other people who are survivors.
Wait, the internet's still around?
Somehow.
The internet's still around, but are you saying that all the people on the internet who are already on the internet didn't have access to the Bible until this random Jew who listened to a book on CD?
So basically the Tribulation Force says...
book of all time.
Yes, the
Tribulation Force digs a hole for him and like covers it up with like scrap metal and just like, you stay down here and get on the internet
and he dies
and tell everyone about God via the internet. He's like, okay. And he's like, just like,
wait, why does he get that shitty job?
Because he's
also, why does he care?
I don't know.
Does he care?
I can't.
That's what I stopped.
Though doesn't care.
Though apparently later in the book series, my friend told me that Nicholas Carpathia starts crucifying people by like murdering them, or he puts their hands and feet in a certain way so he can shoot them through like the hands and feet where the nails would go.
At that point,
and he's just openly murdering people at the UN. Everyone's like okay with it.
At that point, don't you think the UN would be like, hold on a second, maybe we should sanction this guy? He's kind of imitating the people that we usually sanction.
Teeth. He's so smooth looking.
Is he? Wait. Is he inside a giant painting a la Ghostbusters too?
And he steps out of it. He's like, oh, I just need a child to put my soul in.
Did anybody remember to feed Jewy?
Oh no,
Chewy.
His last blog entry just says, I don't blame you.
And Kirk
Tumblr.
And Kirk Cameron's like, listen, I told you if we were going to get you a Jewish rabbi as a pet, you would have to take care of it. And you didn't.
You didn't
fucking feed it.
You messed up next time.
It's all your fault. Flush him down the toilet.
I like to think they just left him in a basement room with wood chips and newspaper.
And a giant water bottle he can just sip from.
Giant feral rabbi.
Oh, this water's so tepid, I can't even...
How good is this tap?
How did he starve? I put tons of cheeseburgers and lobsters down there for him.
They also then completely redid the series, again, is Left Behind for kids. So it was just like, it happened to teenagers. It was even more fucked up.
So there's more vampires and like...
Yeah.
And then it segues into the Hunger Games.
Sexy vampire, they all have to like survive.
They have to survive the Hunger Games while helping sexy vampires.
I should watch that.
So that was the Left Behind series. That's a pretty good note to wrap up the Christian aspect.
Hey nerds, when you're ready to stop thinking and start doing, go to explosomagico.com and check out Climax, the only podcast for action movies by people who love action movies. And when you come by, tell them Dr. Deke Shelby sent you.
I have a quick rundown of other world religions and times. What do you say? Oh, this is fun stuff.
Yeah, fuck you, Chad. This is fun stuff.
Other religions.
In Islam, the end of the world is referred to as the hour and involves Jesus.
That's so much better.
And involves Jesus returning to Damascus to slay an antichrist who has put the planet in peril. It's starting to sound like a sci-fi.
Say again. Jesus returns to slay the Antichrist?
Yes, who has put the planet in peril. With the Antichrist out of the picture, a period of perfect harmony will ensue. And then Jesus will later die a natural death, which will usher in a time of destruction that leads directly to the hour.
Played by Liam Neeson.
So wait, so Jesus is going to come back, put us in like the happiest, most peaceful time we've ever had, and then he'll die.
Jesus will come back and kill the Antichrist who has put the planet in peril.
Is which religion's version?
Islam.
They're all down with Jesus?
Jesus is actually mentioned more in the Quran than Muhammad is.
Then why are we fighting in the Middle East, guys?
Why can't there be peace in the Middle East?
This is what I just realized. You need to go down to racist south. Guys, come on,
I
man.
just realized that, wow, we should be at peace with
be
all
at peace
people.
with it. We shouldn't
Holy
be
shit.
fighting,
Well, all three are considered what's known as Abrahamic religions because they all stem from...
I was having a goof.
I know.
Just having a little gift.
Doing a little goof.
In Judaism, which we touched on a little bit earlier, there are references in the Hebrew Bibles that could be compared to Armageddon, including the Day of the Lord, in which God causes death and destruction to people who deserve to be punished,
That sounds like, yeah.
and the War of Gog and Magog,
Yes.
in
Wait.
which Israel and its God fight their enemies rather than an
And
antichrist.
then Gandalf shows up.
Wait, which one's Gog and which one's Magog?
I don't
Magog. That's where I was trying to go with that joke.
Magog is also
Magog.
a
DC
DC,
character. That's all I could think of when I read that.
Wait, what does Magog do? Is he one of the Green Lanterns?
He's this weird guy who gets a magic staff, and in the DC universe is said to bring about the end times of the DC universe.
Can we just address on how comic book mythology is really strange and how the devil exists in Marvel universe?
Yeah.
Like Mephisto just shows up as
He's in issue 3 of Silver Surfer.
just shows up
devil?
the devil.
Yes, the devil. He Silver Surfer fights the devil in issue 3, the third ever issue of Silver Surfer.
Really jumping in the deep end.
Just
No,
going
but
straight
then
into it.
there was that
hey
whole
kids,
thing where the
he's gonna
devil
fight.
came
He's gonna fight the
and
Elastic Man and
the
then
Spider-Man.
the Lord of Hell.
But remember when he came, there was that whole Spider-Man arc
Right.
where he, the devil was just like, I'll save Aunt May, who should be dead anyway.
Should be dead.
He
She's
should
an
just
old
let her
bee.
die.
Actually.
But you'll never have met Mary Jane.
Sorry, that's off tangent. I think
I don't read a lot of
consider comic
superhero.
books and religion.
because Marvel's never talked about they never have Spider-Man never has a conversation about Revelations and we could just go beat up Mephisto. We could just
If push comes to shove, we know where the devil lives.
we have several
We can
people on our
find
team who
him.
can go into the hell realm. Let's just give them a whopping.
Let's just give him a fucking whooping and make sure the end times will come about.
Rewrite the Bible right now.
Guys, I just want to.
Lucifer's head's clean off.
I just want to shoot my webs on him. Let's go, guys.
Guys, let's go.
Oh my god, it's in the Bible and said, and then an angsty 18-year-old with spider powers would web up the devil.
I got him, you guys. Look I got him.
I got him, guys. What do I do with him?
Me, Spider-Man.
Verse 19, impact webbing. Sorry, what else did you say?
So we've covered Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Hinduism. In Hinduism, there's the story of the god Vishnu coming back in the last cycle of time as a figure called Kalki, who rides a white horse.
Wait, sorry, what?
Say it one more time.
Kalki.
Kalki?
Like Macaulay.
Kulki.
Like
Macaulay
Macaulay.
Culkin.
It's like one of the
Like
kids in
Culkin.
one of the kids in Little Rascals. Buckwheat and Alpha and Kulki.
Kulki.
Wasn't that the name of a perfect
Culkin
stranger?
never showers.
Cousin Kalki.
It's probably.
They cut him out after the pilot. Don't worry about it.
Indian people were really offended, so we cut him out and recast. Let's just rename him Balki and it'll be fine.
Oh, that's much better.
So,
whiteness.
so the figure is named Kalki, and he rides a white horse, again with the white horse stuff.
Yeah.
Carries a sword that looks like a comet and
nice.
destroys the
That
forces
sounds
of evil.
It's pretty
So that's
great. I read
pretty
that
neat.
comic. Is that all it is?
That's it.
I'd read that comic.
Forces of evil, just all
Yeah, everything evil is
drug dealers.
He's like, comet sword, comet sword. And then in Buddhist prophecies, or in some of them, the equivalent of Armageddon is Shambhala, which is in which good triumphs over evil. However, the planet is restored rather than destroyed so that people can pursue enlightenment.
I like that version.
That
That's
actually
the best
so
version.
much
sounds pretty
better.
nice.
Is it just rolled back then? So it's like
Yeah, it's just roll back.
giant
I
rewind?
think it's fucked up
Reboot.
that in the Islam version, it started off really promising.
And then it's just
And then it was just then Jesus dies again. Then you're all fucked.
Guys, I have
Yeah.
much
Like,
for
oh,
it.
that
So
sounded
let's say the Armageddon's happening. Any of these versions are happening, and you're in the middle of committing a sin. You're just stealing a Nestle bar from the 7-Eleven, from the
Jerking
AMPM, just jerking off.
I'm
Yeah,
just
jerking
saying
off's
that's
fine.
What I would be doing.
But you're doing something bad and it's happening.
can't
Do you
spill
continue
seed.
do you continue messing up, or do you
can't-
put that candy bar back, or do you just go, I'm done? It's a deep question.
If it's already happened,
It's starting to happen. The skies are falling down, and you just see a giant horseman just comes up and picks up Cactus Taqueria and just takes it away.
Oh,
Just takes it away in one big hand.
Give me my favorite
You're
taco
at the
shop
7-Eleven
back.
across the street. You're about to steal that candy bar. Do you put the candy bar back and just walk outside and let
Fuck
things
no.
happen?
Wait,
Wait, have people been beamed up already? If they're gonna be saved, and I'm still there with the candy bar.
No one's been beamed up that you've seen because it's LA.
Oh,
But if I see a giant
a
rider
giant
of the
demon horseman
apocalypse,
just came over. Yeah, just took away your favorite burrito place.
I would probably freak out a little bit. I wouldn't immediately assume that it was the end times. I'd assume that there was some
It's like,
sort
what
of
fucking
monster.
asshole's shooting on this corner of the street?
Well, my question
awesome
is,
special
not I said, do you freak out? Is do you continue? Do you try to not repeal?
Repent right there?
Like right there? Or do you just like, I'm going to have the next couple days to just like do whatever I want?
I already reevaluate my life pretty much on a daily basis, so that probably would trigger that. I would just have a metaphysical crisis and put the candy bar back.
I'd put it back, but be super like bummed out about it, and just like put it back and stare at it on the shelf as the four horsemen just rage around me.
And then when the horseman comes, he's like, I didn't take that candy bar. He just goes,
chops you fucking in half,
and the horseman just narrows his eyes at you and then just rides away and kills another guy who had a candy bar.
He does a quick nod and then just rides off into the
and then
fire.
he tosses you a baby Ruth.
And you steal the Milky Way anyway.
It's just like that Mean-Eyed Joe interaction in the Super Bowl. You're just like, hey, Mean-Eyed Joe. He just tosses you his jersey.
But in this case, it's a flaming cloak of pestilence.
Here you go, kid. Is this a mound? Oh.
No.
The horseman rides away with a mound sticker on the ass of his horse. You're just like, what's going on?
This street marketing is getting really weird.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, eh, kid?
What?
Pestilence?
As a woman pushing a shopping cart.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, eh, kid?
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Coconut. No war. Please go away.
Please go away, war.
Do you have any Kit
No,
Kats?
it would definitely be pestilence. Like hungry. You guys hungry? And just like
You guys hungry? No, it's obviously famine.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys hungry? You guys hungry?
Well, too bad.
Because I got nothing for you.
Too bad. You're too hungry.
Too hungry. He just eats and licks it.
Too bad.
He licks it. He's like,
This taunting has been sponsored by Mars.
Well, whatchamacallit?
Yeah, you get him whatchamacallit.
His horse is made of candy bar armor.
Yeah, they're just riding giant candy bars.
You can't have any of this.
I give you a now and later, but there's not going to be a later.
I like to think Famine's just riding a horse of T-bone steaks. Just like,
You're just trying to eat them.
you're just like, oh,
That looks so good.
tasty.
Just continually just pouring
Look at
barbecue
it, it's
sauce
clearly
over
aged
himself.
and marbled. Oh,
Okay, all right. The last world religion I wanted to dive into a little bit is Norse mythology.
Okay.
Because
That's awesome.
as you all may be familiar,
Ragnarok.
it is Ragnarok. So, Ragnarok, a great battle is foretold that will ultimately result in the death of a number of major figures, including the gods Odin, Thor, Tyr, Freyr, Heimdallr, and Loki. The occurrence of natural disasters and the subsequent submersion of the world in water. After the world will resurface anew and fertile. The surviving returning gods will meet, and the world will be repopulated by 2 human survivors.
Wait. Are we talking about Waterworld?
Yes,
yeah,
Ragnarok.
Waterworld. Ragnarok was always a sword in Final Fantasy.
Oh, it was.
And I actually have a piece of the Poetic Edda in which Ragnarok is described.
Go for it.
And this is what happens to us humans, us puny humans in this world. Brothers will fight and kill each other.
Dracula, calm down.
Sisters, children
Are
of the file
you a Russian character from Call of Duty? What?
It is harsh in the world. Whoredom rife, an axe age, a sword age, shields are riven, a wind age, a wolf age. Before the
Wolf Age.
before the world goes headlong, no man will have mercy on another.
Sorry. Also, Count Dracula, very spooky. Count Dracula. But
Whoa.
brothers will turn on each other. I like
Brothers will fight and others will die.
And the rock music will go away.
Oh no, watch out for the Ragnarok.
The abbas will assume into heaven, and then we'll have no dancing queen.
All of Abba will God.
Can I point out? Sorry, I point out that this is the Viking noise
in Valhalla.
In Valhalla.
Mamma
The
Mia, best musical.
It's a dancing queen.
Dancing Queen. I like that every age they depicted was just everything they knew. Like
Yep.
there was just snow.
There's an axe
and
age, a
winds,
sword
axe
age.
and wolves.
I don't know what Wolf Age
Wolf
implies.
Age is just a sea of like you can't even stand in the wolves.
You
They're
can't-
just wolves, like just a bunch of muck.
You know the phrase, you can't see the forest through the trees? It's that, but you can't see the wolves through the wolves.
I imagine you look outside and it's like, what's the weather like today? Wolves.
Still wolves.
Always
Piled to the fucking top of the
Like when
of
you
the
see
house.
those houses being taken away in floods, but that's just wolves. It's
God,
just
this wolf age is lasting forever. Let's get on with it already.
Oh no, the wolves are in seas and it just smells so bad outside.
So I actually have some specifics of what happens in Ragnarok.
Okay.
In Wolf Age?
Heimdall will raise the Gjallarhorn into the air and blow deeply into it.
Yeah, I bet he will.
Odin will converse with Mim's head. I don't know what happened to Mim, but apparently just her head. The world tree Yggdrasil will shudder and groan.
Yggdrasil's a board game.
Is it Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
for when your joints ache.
It'll even out your bowel movements.
Tired and achy joints from raping too much? Grab some Yggdrasil.
Rub it all over. Rub it all over the person you've attacked because it burns.
It's the world trees approved. The Jotunherm will come from the east, his shield before him. The Midgard serpent, Jormungandr, will furiously writhe, causing waves to crash. The eagle will shriek, and pale-beaked he tears the corpse. And the ship Nifalgar will break free thanks to the waves made by Jormungandr and set sail for the east.
All those names sound the same to me.
These aren't. Honestly, this isn't that bad so far. This ain't that bad.
The fire Jotnar inhabitants of Muspelheim will come forth.
Sure.
The dwarves will groan by their stone doors. It's becoming Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
So
I was just
now-
saying, like,
no, so now
then
it's
someone
a-
will say there's a cave troll.
I like that
Yeah.
the dwarves would just be like, they're just standing out looking over just the mess that's before them.
He's saying the equivalent of someone will have to wait by the bus for 15 minutes. Is
Yeah.
what the equivalent-
Sutur will advance from the south, his sword brighter than the sun.
Fair enough.
Rocky cliffs will open, and the Jotnar women will sink, and people will walk the road to hell, and the heavens will split apart. It's just kind of thrown in at the
So
end.
yeah, it's all the important stuff.
It's really specific, and then at the end, it's just like,
And people will die, and the heavens will be torn asunder.
Blah, blah, blah. Everybody dies at the end. But you got to see the dwarves.
Was that a thing that they just thought were real? Did they think dwarves were just around, or did they think dwarves were just going to?
Well, this is technically this all happens in the future, like our future.
So they expect dwarves to still happen.
Yeah, they think it's still possible for like the dwarves, like literally. I mean, we have dwarves; they're just little people.
You mean Tyrion Lannister?
Yes, like Tyrion Lannister. They could form a society sometime in the
I
future.
don't think so. No.
You don't think so?
We need to keep him
Not
from
while
having
I'm here.
as many kids as possible.
I'm just saying it's not
It's
impossible.
not fucking happening.
Not while I'm here. My punting leg is still good.
So now you can go around to clubs, and if you see a short person trying to get laid, you just like stop and go, I'm trying to stop Ragnarok from happening, okay? I'm trying to stop Ragnarok.
I'm trying to do my little part to keep us all alive.
And you go, and do a finger point at him. And
Yeah.
just walks away. Very
So,
confused.
so on that note, that wraps up the end of the world according to the religions of the world.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, so that brings us up to present day. I think there are a few things that all of us might have something to say about present day scenarios that could very well in the world. The first and foremost, which I think is close to all of our hearts, is that of the robo-apocalypse.
The singularity, is that, you mean it's more of the...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the singularity, as predicted by technologists and futurists such as Robert Kurzweil, which is, do you want to explain it, Chad, or shall I?
No, that's fine. Go for it.
Okay, the singularity is the idea that as technology progresses, eventually, like computers that we build will be the only things that can design their successors, right? So these supercomputers will design even better supercomputers, and then those supercomputers will design even better supercomputers, to the point where we have no idea how the supercomputers' grandchildren even work. And they will become these entities, like these artificial intelligences, that will be so far beyond us that we will be unto them like peons before gods. And the human race will be all but extinct and replaced by this AI.
And then we might hopefully get absorbed into the singularity, is what we're
Yeah,
hoping.
we're
That's what
hoping.
That's what I'm hoping.
Like Matrix
scenario
style?
is that we all get absorbed into it.
But
Yeah.
more likely is we'll just be reduced to like a few caretakers to kind of like polish their wheels.
But why
and stuff.
don't even... Because it's got to start
if
at
they
the point...
even would have wheels.
It's got to start at the point where there's the person pushing the button to make the next computer. You'd have to tell that first computer that every computer has to have like a kill switch built into it. And I feel like the singularity is avoided at that point.
You say that, except once a computer gets smart enough, like the way that we're literally designing computers now that are emulating the human brain.
The thing.
And the human brain thinks by like, oh, this is impossible. I can't do that. Well, what if I can? So if you build in a kill switch,
right
even if you build in a kill switch and you tell it to achieve a certain thing, it'll eventually like try. Oh, what if I turn off that don't kill humans switch?
The more important,
We're
the more
pretty
interesting.
far away from this, though.
it's like 10 years
I
off.
just read.
It's like 2025.
So I read John Ronson. If you guys know who he is,
Is he
a British journalist,
Okay.
writer, and he wrote his latest book. He did like a series of essays. It's like collected things, but one of them is he went to all of the smartest AIs currently in existence and interviewed them. And
awesome.
they are dumb as fuck.
Are we talking about Smarter Child? That AI?
No, we're
bot?
talking about like the people. Like there was the creepiest one though was that there's this lady that is slowly like trying to put her conscience into a robot version of himself.
Stop it, lady.
Like he
Stop
went,
it.
he interviewed. He literally sat down with the robot of this lady and like. You know, it was like, okay, this is kind of bullshit. It's kind of dumb. And then it got really creepy because he asked a personal question of the woman. And it was a story that had somehow, like, been absorbed into the consciousness of the robot. So he started telling that he basically interviewed this lady through her robot self. Like told him all about this very specific event in her life and how she felt like over like a death. And it was just like this really creepy.
So you started out saying this is really far away, and then described a horrifying scenario where it sounds like it's happening now.
But that was like rare, and it was very specific because he just so happened to say the one thing, like one of the few things that like it could really articulate about.
Well, and I think Kyle didn't finish like the end of the story because like he tells this really great like personal bit from the lady, and then at the end the robot's like, so did you hear about the new Kardashian's wedding and stuff?
Wait,
and then the robot just like totally shuts down like, all right, never mind.
That's because the robot
too
realized
far
the reality show is trash.
Yeah.
The best example of a robot starting to have its own kind of scary reasoning is there was a programmer who started to having a program watch a computer watch him play Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario World, right? And it was watching his inputs, like of him putting, like just when he would push A and push B, or for like very simplistic games, especially like a side scroller platformer. And then after watching him play several times, just the button pushes, the robot could start doing that himself and replicating what was the best input. Like you walk right for 5 seconds and then you jump and then you jump. Like that sort of timing thing. And then eventually it was just kind of doing where it was running endless loops and figuring out the best optimum way to get through all of these levels.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like a reverse way to go through like an AI for computer system where it's playing like a human would. So for Super Mario, it's just doing these amazing tricks, and it's figuring out glitches that people didn't even know were glitches. Like, it eventually figures out that you can, like, jump up through Goombas if you hit them at the right angle, because it's just going through every permutation that's going that fast. Really, really scary. The scariest one is he starts playing with other games. Like, they're always very NES stuff. One of them is Tetris.
Yeah.
It's not good at Tetris because it's a different idea of how to comprehend, like, button inputs. It's everything that's randomized doesn't work very well because it's not trying to do spatial reasoning. But in Tetris, it would realize that eventually, as it noticed that the squares were getting to a certain spot, if it was going to lose, it would just pause the game rather than lose.
Wow.
Like, it got to the realization
it was
of
a zero
if it
sum
kept
game.
going, it would lose. But if it pauses the game, at least it hasn't lose. So it would just lock itself in a perpetual state of...
It paused it and was like, fuck this game, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, but like, I'm not going to lose. So I'm just saying, like, what if that robot's mindset goes into like a war with the humans, and the robots are like, the robot's about to lose and go, we just freeze everyone. Because it's better to freeze everyone.
Let's freeze everyone.
Rather than lose the game against humans.
That learning thing, and what both of you guys were talking about, sort of bleeds into what I think will really happen. So it's like if they can learn to input better, or like figure things out for themselves and learn from us and start to become us, how long until like fucking a robot is way more awesome than fucking a person, and then just we stop procreating?
That's more. I honestly think that's more likely.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's more likely, even though scientists seem so bent on having Terminator 4 happen, like
hell-bent on it.
Hey, now we have drones that can all hover in unison, and like here's a dog that can hunt you through the woods, like that robot, like mechanical Metal Gear Solid dog thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, just like that idea of like what they're building machines that only would ever be used to hunt humans. That's the only reason they would, not to like to sniff up bombs or to be used in combat. It's just to hunt humans.
Well, I've seen a robot that someone designed that was a snake robot, and you could toss it on a pole, and it would just wrap around the pole, and then immediately like be able to aim something.
But how do you fuck it?
No, I don't like that at all. So, but
How do you fuck that robot?
I don't get it. You throw the snake robot.
it.
You throw the snake robot
selfish.
around your dick.
And then it shoots stuff.
But
stuff.
I think it's more likely that the technology will become to a point where it's too easy for us to just to not procreate. I think the singularity more honestly is not that robots will outsmart us and then kill us. It'll be that we will allow ourselves to go into a digital world where we just don't breed anymore.
Well, why do you think that Japan's population rate is going down? They're always 20 years ahead of us.
Sex robots?
Well, no, or even just like you go into the idea of you get into the virtual reality level world where it's World of Warcraft 20, and it's just it's so the feedback is so great. You're directly stimulating your nerves.
Like the Ready Player One thing.
Yeah. I really think what happened will be you'll have people like even, possibly even our generation when they'll be working. Not for retirement, but for a long enough time that they can just have enough saved up. They can spend the rest of their life in like VR pods and just play fantasy games in their mind.
The stimulation of entering a virtual reality would be way better than sex could possibly provide.
Because they'll be able to stimulate all of your things.
It'll just
better simulate.
It'll be like those rats in the cages that have electrodes going to their pleasure centers, and they just keep hitting the button over and over again.
Only that button is my dick.
I've already seen enough people on the internet who are like, listen, I'll never find a girl as good as Miranda in Mass Effect.
No!
I've already seen people saying that sort of idea, that a digital, very basic idea of like a love relationship is better than anything you find in the real life. So now imagine if those actual digital girlfriends from video games actually could give you like mental stimulation.
I think that argument just talked me out of that happening, though. Because what's going to happen is they're going to create the Miranda sex robot. All the nerds are going to start fucking the Miranda sex robot, and then they're all going to die off. And then there's going to be no one to like make the new like more advanced sex robot that everybody likes. So you're just going to fuck like Cortana and Miranda from Mass Effect, and then you just like all those people die, and then we have the rest of the people that are actually using computers for like AOL.
Yeah, it's very, we don't lock ourselves down at a very level of technology.
Understand how technology works.
And anytime there's a new kid who has a real good, just really adept at computers, just ends up just like, oh please, Timmy has a real future. Maybe they might open up MIT again just for him to learn there. Oh god, he fell into the sex robot.
It's cyclical. We'll come back
at 13, they all just like discover sexrobot.com.
There's just a recessive gene for sex robot.
Oh no,
addiction.
He hit sex robot early.
He downloaded 1999 Britney Spears. Oh no. We lost him.
A somewhat similar idea that I'd like to touch on real quick, which I think is pretty hilarious, but also terrifying, which is kind of a cousin to the singularity, is the concept of gray goo. Are you familiar with this idea?
I know that in griefing in like MMOs. Great.
Okay, so imagine, if you will.
I am.
I'm on board.
A doctor has this radical new procedure in which all of your ailments will be cured, not with a pill, not with a surgery, but rather a simple injection. An injection of nanites. The nanites enter your body, repair you from within, and that is that. But one nanite gets a slight malfunction. Rather than repairing your cells, it decides to build more of itself using whatever's around it. Whatever's around it happens to be you, and the table, and the chair, and the room, until each nanite builds more nanites that then use all the existing atoms in the universe to build more nanites, until there is nothing but nanites creating nanites, and a massive wave of gray goo.
Would it be goo, or would it be like solid metal?
Yeah,
it would be.
I would think it'd be more like
they would be on the
T1000.
Yeah,
it would be a goo because it would be on the microscopic level. It would be literally the size of molecules. So it would look like it'd be like a silvery. It'd be like mercury, I think.
Tetsuo.
Canada.
So basically, all you're saying is one malfunctioning nanobot.
Hey, bros, how about we just don't inject ourselves with goo?
How about we just
It doesn't
don't
matter.
inject ourselves?
As soon as you have a nanite that can build more nanites, then you're fucked.
So it's die of cancer or become one mass world organism.
Or they lock you in a room that it couldn't replicate. Like it could replicate out of any material but carbon. I don't know.
But then what if it evolves? As happens anytime you have something that reproduces over and over again, there'd be one that could build itself out of that material.
So do you just suddenly become like a large, like massive skin that starts to like wrap around stuff like the blob? You just kind of like
would you just
push
be sitting there
into
one
things?
day and then you just like slowly melt into?
You're melting in the couch like a anti-weed commercial.
Yeah,
where you
exactly.
I think you would just notice your hand just start to kind of like fall apart, like bacteria, and like gray goo would drip off.
and you go, ooh, would you? Well, here's a question: do you eat it?
You
you
probably,
gotta eat
I would
it.
sniff it.
You got to
At the
eat
very
it.
least.
You got to try to taste it.
If that started happening, I don't think I could do anything. Like, I don't think anyone would be able to help me because I wouldn't stop screaming.
You cut off. You cut off.
Yeah,
your
it would
limb.
be like a zombie plague, I think.
You have to cut off
chop-
your limb.
You'd chop it off, and then you'd run. But then you'd be on the run for the rest of your life because eventually those nanites would find you.
Well, no, they'd be absorbing everything. It's not you're just not the only one. Everyone.
You would
in
have
the world
nowhere to
will know.
go. You'd have to build a space ark in a week.
You
or
scoop
however
it up.
long.
You
fire
fire
it
it. No, you scoop it up in a shovel,
sun.
and you run to NASA and go put this on the next one, and you just
And
throw
then
it in
just
there
eat-
as it
and
takes
then
off.
as it takes off, it just eats the space shuttle and spreads it across.
Can you just hit
The
it
Earth.
with like some? I don't know. Can you just hit it with some
like
heat?
a fire extinguisher.
Like anything, like extreme heat
Yeah,
or
nanites would
extreme
be
cold.
destructible.
Like,
Or just pour
yeah,
some
but
Sprite on it.
it's like at that size and at that rate of replication, it's like bacteria. The reason we have so many issues with
You can
like
kill bacteria.
You can kill bacteria, but then some survive whenever you kill them, and then they get stronger and are resistant to whatever you.
So
use
here's
to
what you
kill
do.
them.
Here's what you do. So if you've injected your arm because you had some really shitty tattoos in the past, you put some nanites in your arm to rebuild that tattoo arm, right?
Yes.
Take tattoos off. It starts dripping gray goo. You cut off your arm. You're home. You're home watching Game of Thrones. You cut off your arm.
You Evil Dead your arm.
You Evil Dead your arm. You throw it in a pan. You throw it in your oven. And you put it at 450 degrees, and you just cook that baby. You just cook that baby nice and hard.
Then you have heat-resistant nanites that can come after you.
Well, no,
and
they
eat
would.
your oven.
They're not evolving.
They are.
Or we'll say
Evolution does not only apply to organic
You
things.
don't program the nanites to be able to evolve. You program to have a basic reconstruction
But
program.
the
to only be able to be able
point,
to
the
create a
point
certain
is,
version of
anytime you
themselves.
have something replicating itself billions of times over, evolution is a natural result because errors occur,
But
and
doesn't
those
it
errors
take,
are mutations.
It takes forever for that, like, years and years and years for like those things to happen. So if Kyle suddenly started melting right now, we'd probably have at least 50 years before he like was Kyle and the couch combined.
well,
the
actually,
problem
least
is
a
that
week.
everything happens so
At an
fast
accelerated pace.
at an accelerated pace.
bacteria
on a
evolves
molecular
over the
scale.
course of hours.
Yeah.
So we'd have like a
Everything's
day.
way faster.
We have a day to get Kyle into space.
small.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah,
that
you
movie.
got to fire me into the sun immediately.
Would you be okay with that, though?
Yes.
As we were loading into the space shuttle,
Knock
some
his teeth out.
scientist runs in and goes, "Hey, I think I found a cure," and then they just shut the door.
Shut the door. It's a fun prank we play on you guys before we launch
It's a
into
fun
space.
prank.
I'm pretty sure he
it's a
said it was
goof.
okay. I couldn't find his face to ask
We're
him,
just
so
fucking with him. We're
whatever.
just fucking with him.
Kyle and the couch are just in the rocket ship. I don't care anymore.
So I think that covers Robopocalypse.
We could probably do a full Robopocalypse episode
Yeah.
later for sure.
Yeah. I watched T2 the other day.
A documentary T2.
T2.
I guess I'd like to wrap it up with the idea that natural disasters are going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
With super volcanoes are pretty much inevitable. There's at least 3 I can think of that are due to erupt in the next 100 years, 200 years.
Watch that. There's
Super
a Vice
volcanoes?
documentary on
Super volcanoes,
they
such as
So what does that mean?
one for instance, the most famous is the Yellowstone caldera, which you're familiar with the geysers in Yellowstone,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have
Oh,
these
beautiful.
amazing
Love
guys-
them. Love it at
beautiful,
that
right?
time of the
Well,
year.
those are an
yes.
indication that the whole area has intense seismic activity that is due to explode with the intensity of 1,000 megaton bomb that will send so much hot ash and magma into the air that it will envelop the entire Earth and send us into an extinction event.
So we need to put
much
some
like the
cement,
Cambrian
cement
extinction.
down over that whole thing. We just need to cement.
It's not going to
Put
work.
some tape on it.
Like
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
over
what
the
do you
past,
do?
Nothing. You die. That's going to happen in
So it
about
creates an
10
ice age because it blocks out all sun and
Yeah,
stuff.
everything will die.
man.
All vegetation
That's
will
a
die.
bummer, man.
People will die. Most of the middle of America will be just a blast zone.
Just on the minor scale, you should. There's a documentary that Vice did recently where it shows that the water level is rising so much, just on a global scale, that it's gone up 2 or 3 inches. just based on how much ice has melted.
Yeah.
And we think about, like, that's a lot of water for 2 or 3 inches to be raised across the entire globe.
Yeah.
And so that Venice, which is already partly underwater, but stuff that's not supposed to be underwater is now underwater. So all these, like, shops that were just right there on the edge are just, like, half sunken, and the entire town just going down.
Well, Venice is also just built on a bunch of basically floaty devices.
Right.
And also Venice is kind of gross, so it's okay.
So we're
It's
okay
all right.
with those dirty people.
Yeah.
Just
Dirty,
going away.
gross.
Send them on the
Wait,
ocean.
so super volcano wise, that one's due like
That one's due just in the last 100 years. That since they've started measuring the Yellowstone caldera, it's actually raised up about 5 feet. At like the bottom of the Yellowstone Lake, which this caldera is sitting on top of, has raised up 5 feet. So there's a big bubble of Earth that's about ready to burst
So
in the
just
next few
lance
hundred
it
years.
and let it drip out slowly?
I think that would probably create a geyser, because some Russian scientists actually tried to drill into the seismic core at a different part, not near the caldera, but kind of like on the edge of it, and they wound up creating a new geyser.
Oh, wow.
And so if once it explodes on its own, it's just going to be a massive super geyser of insanity.
So why don't we just start making a bunch of other geysers to try and, like, get rid of some of that pressure?
Why don't we build an amusement park next to it and just sell it as a tourist thing?
Why don't we Let's just put it all in a dome.
Yeah, that's the dome people's problem. I don't give a shit.
that's Domeland's problem.
We just built a
Domelandia.
1,000-mile dome overall.
Dome-
Like, goodbye.
Just mutated dome bison hitting the walls of the dome, trying to get out.
That's their problem now.
And then Couch Kyle is just, like, slowly creeping around the thing. Domeland. You know also, that Stephen King thing that's coming out soon?
Under the dome.
That I have not read it. I have only seen commercials. I had a fucking nightmare about that whole idea. Like, not like the whole thing, but like suddenly I was like walking, trying to get away from like this town where a bunch of crazy shit was happening, and then I hit like a dome of the wall and couldn't get out, and woke up just like, and I was like, I had no fucking hadn't read it or like.
That just shows Stephen King's a master.
He's a fucking master.
How
Master
upset
terror.
it? No, it just means that he watched the Simpsons movie.
Right?
Yeah, he was just like, I bet I can make that scary. I guess if you want to.
I think that about wraps it up on this particular edition of Paranoia Shoppe, The End of the World, Part 1,
Starring Seth Rogen.
starring Seth Rogen. Once again, I'm Aaron Walke, and we have
Sorry, Kyle's just nodding face of, yeah, Chad, you got it with that ref. You got it with that joke. Good job. And I'm Chad Quan.
Chad Quant, and very special thanks to our guests Kyle McVey and Joey Reinisch.
You probably
are
already,
welcome.
Yeah, you probably already know if you don't listen to this feed already, but obviously Joey from every podcast.
Yes.
And Joey and Kyle from LOLJK.
But I would like to say that my personal favorite, and I hope comes true, Ragnarok. I think I'm going to go with Ragnarok as my prediction.
I don't have a favorite because I think it's meaningless. Because eventually time and space will rip, and nothing will matter.
Okay, Kyle. If you want to
Because
end on a
there
downer.
will be nothing.
That's true. Death of the Universe
Yeah, that'll
is what
happen.
Kyle's going with.
Okay, Joey.
I wanted the Gregu thing because I want to sit on a Kyle couch.
Just sit up, and you're like, no, you're pushing me farther into the
I'm
couch.
like, Kyle,
No.
oh, you can't do anything about this? Oh, it's so hot in here. I'm going to take my shorts off.
That's my nightmare that I just have a
to the
butt
couch.
print of you in me.
No,
Kyle.
Kyle starts becoming like silly putty where you can put your face into him and just like comics and press him
I
against
slide
him.
his face over so I
Kathy.
can put my taint down exactly right
You know what?
there.
Fuck you, because then you become part of the Kyle couch.
Worth it.
Worth it. It's worth
Hey,
it.
Kyle Couch.
Worth those moments.
Hey, Cow Couch, you want Family Circus in your face?
No, Family Circus is try it. I don't want it.
I imagine if I touch him and then let go quick enough, it won't like suck me in.
Only takes one.
You're just daring yourself.
I'm just like, nah, nah.
Only takes one nanite, and then Joey joins the Kyle Couch.
Yeah, just like slowly dip the tip of my ween right on the edge of the Kyle Couch and be like, what are you gonna do, Kyle Couch?
I ain't gonna be one.
I really like the idea of, honestly, VR world that we all just don't breed in, because that means I get to go into a VR world
Computer
and
sex.
just give it to Vitamin C. Remember Vitamin C?
Why are you so obsessed with vitamin C?
Because I think
Are
she
you
was
obsessed
cute.
with her or
and she
the
probably,
idea of her?
I think she lives in LA probably, and I still have a shot with her. Anyway, if you guys are listening to some other means, you can subscribe to us on tinyurl.com/explosopodcast. And if you hate iTunes and you hate Steve Jobs, that son of a bitch, you can go to feeds.feedburner.com/ExplosoMagico. It's a feed that this show is on and every other show, including LOLJK.
And if you have any suggestions of what topics you want to do, please email us at Paranoia Shoppe, that's SHOPPE @gmail.com.
Or you also Twitter at all of us.
Or you can tweet at us. You can tweet at Chad at Quantum Theory.
QUANDTUM Theory. You can tweet at Aaron, good Aaron. Joey, do you want to plug your Twitter?
J. Reinisch.
Never use it.
And Kyle at Kyle.
Rocket_Kyle.
It's pretty good.
So follow us in those places. Stay tuned. We'll have a great one next month.
No, don't promise. Next year. We said next
we'll
year.
Have
It's
one,
a yearly podcast.
It's a yearly annual podcast that you will love. All right, now we will leave you with this. It's a prediction from our favorite psychic, the amazing Criswell.
It's a book you just found in a basement somewhere.
A book that we found in a basement. He made numerous predictions in the 1960s, most of which were wrong, except for this one, perhaps.
Go for it.
Here it is. Criswell predicts the end. The world as we know it will cease to exist on August 18th, 1999. A study of all the prophets, Nostradamus, St. Odile, Mother Shipton, the Bible, indicates that we will cease to exist before the year 2000. Not one of these prophets even took the trouble to predict beyond the year 2000. And if you and I meet each other on the street that fateful day, August 18th, 1999, and we chat about what we'll do tomorrow, we will open our mouths to speak, and no words will come out, for we have no future. You and I will suddenly run out of time. Who knows but what future generations from some other planet will dig down through the 7 layers of rubble and find us 2,000 years hence, crowded around a museum glass containing a broken fragment of a Coca-Cola bottle, a bent hairpin, and a parched copy of our Bible which managed to escape the terrifying destruction of our civilization. They will wonder what on earth was meant by the words Henry Ford or Hollywood, and what in heaven's name was a Criswell.
He's an asshole.
What a dick.
What a dick. Thanks for listening.
This has been an Explosomagico podcast production. For more information, please visit explosomagico.com.